Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Refrigerator Magnet's Poetic Tour. Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha was a great saint in ancient India who lived in the 5th century BC. He achieved union with God, samadhi bliss, the funeral of all sorrows through years of effort in yoga meditation underneath a Bodhi tree. Moses. Moses was a great Jewish prophet who lived in the 16th century BC. He led the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt to freedom in Israel after God's miracle of the parting of the Red Sea. William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett was from Tennessee, but he moved to Texas and died at the Battle of the Alamo. That was part of the Texas War of Independence against Mexico. Frederick Douglass. He escaped from slavery into freedom at age 20 in 1838. His name was Frederick Douglass. He inspired those in the abolition movement to fight for the end of slavery, and throughout his life served as his country's moral compass. The Scream. The Scream by Norwegian painter Edvard Munch is an iconic image symbolizing the anxiety of modern man. Perhaps it portrays the state of mind of the mentally ill when facing life's challenges when they think, "No, I don't think I can." Theodore Roosevelt. My grandmother, Gertrude Zook Ray, saw Theodore Roosevelt at the train station in Marion, Ohio in 1912, when TR was the presidential nominee of the Bull Moose Party. Roosevelt had created the new party, which split the vote, helped the Democrat Woodrow Wilson to win, and led to the loss for TR of many of his friends in the Republican Party. Albert Einstein. He developed the theory of relativity and the famous equation E equals mc squared. His name was Albert Einstein. His research in physics for the scientific community was a veritable gold mine. Frida Kahlo. She was a fine painter who married Diego Rivera. This gal was from Mexico. It would take a Renaissance man to recognize that this is Frida Kahlo. Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was a Spanish painter. One of his famous works is titled Guernica. This painting depicts destruction from bombing during the Spanish Civil War on the peninsula of Iberia. Kurt Vonnegut. Kurt Vonnegut became famous with his 1969 novel, Slaughterhouse-Five. He served in the U.S. Army in the Second World War, saw action at the Battle of the Bulge, was captured by the Germans, but survived till the end of the war, when he came home, safe and alive. Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. When teenagers Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster created the Man of Steel in Cleveland, Ohio in 1932, little did they know that millions of people would become a fan. Captain Kirk. The dying Captain James Tiberius Kirk's memorable last words in the movie Star Trek Generations. It was fun. In Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, Captain Kirk at the end of the movie quotes Peter Pan. Second star to the right, and straight till morning. Of course, the most famous star is the sun. The Artist's Garden at Giverny, Claude Monet, 1900. This reminds me of the wonderful garden of my good friend Dinah Lesheim in Rocky River, Ohio, USA, on Aberdeen Road. That garden had stupendous beauty, not lessened in the slightest by the arrival of a toad. Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue, morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined with pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left in sight on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget. Like the strangers that we've met, the ragged man in ragged clothes, the silver thorn a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. Study for Bather at Ants Asniers by George Seurat, 1884. Ah, what a peaceful impressionistic scene on the Seine River near Paris, France. Still, thoughts tend to scatter. What comes to mind is, Veronica Gantz doesn't wear pants. Starbucks. Starbucks is named after a character in Herman Melville's classic novel Moby Dick. They sell fine coffee. You can't beat it with a stick. Washington, D.C. The Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the White House, the sites in Washington, D.C., the Jefferson Memorial, the Smithsonian Institute, the U.S. Capitol, and so much more. It's mind-boggling how much there is to see. Cleveland Museum of Art. This museum, in my opinion, is Cleveland's greatest treasure, with a vast number of works of art from around the world and all the way into the distant past. Its value is without measure. Fight between a tiger and a buffalo, Henry Rousseau, 1908. Well, for this water buffalo, it appears to be the end of the road. The trials of life, he no longer has to bear that load. House of Fabergé, pansy. Pansies are beautiful flowers, really wonderful and oh so meek. However, they have a fatal flaw, and it's pretty bad. Their stems are exceedingly weak. Arm reliquary of the apostles. Part of the Guelph treasure, inside this gilt silver arm is a saint's arm bone. Saints are the greatest heroes. They're oh so kind. They don't have hearts of stone. Cleveland History Center. This fine place is headquarters for the Western Reserve Historical Society. It has the Euclid Beach Park Grand Carousel, as well as the Crawford Auto Aviation Museum. Another nostalgic site is the Chief Wahoo sign from the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. The Power and Politics exhibit at the Cleveland History Center. This exhibit was on display in 2016 and had items from every U.S. presidential election going back to 1788. Coins, buttons, ribbons, posters, and more. Really a grand gallop through American history, something that was absolutely great. The Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage. The Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage in Beechwood, Ohio, in the Cleveland area, is a fine showcase of Jewish achievement. When you think about it, the beginning of Western civilization is in the Bible, in the Jewish Old Testament. Cleveland Botanical Garden. In the Madagascar section, there is an enormous baobab tree. During a visit, I spent some time communing with this botanical being. Later, I learned it was made of cement. The joke was on me. The Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo. The Andean condor, the mandarin duck, the peregrine falcon, the ring-tailed lemur, and the noble cheetah. The slender-tailed meerkat, the North American porcupine, the giant marine toad, the Siberian tiger, and the western lowland gorilla. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. Bob Marley, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Elvis Presley, George Harrison, and Johnny Cash, Jelly Roll Morton, James Taylor, Louis Armstrong, Nat King Cole, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Great Lakes Science Center. Here you can see the Apollo Command module, which traveled 26.5 million miles during the Skylab 3 space mission. It was a crewed mission to the first American space station, Skylab, in 1973. The astronauts Alan L. Bean, Owen K. Garriott, and Jack R. Lousma really had to pay attention. The Christmas Story House. Located in the Tremont neighborhood on Cleveland's west side, the wonderful movie about the Christmas dream of 9-year-old Ralphie Parker. Although Santa Claus at Higbee said, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," in the end, Ralphie did receive the long 4 air rifle, a Red Ryder. Museum of Contemporary Art, Cleveland. Mocha once had a very interesting exhibit, an all-yellow staircase you could walk up and down while listening to a soundtrack reciting contrasting phrases. Anne of Green Gables and the Gulag Archipelago, Alice in Wonderland, and the Communist Manifesto. The Greater Cleveland Aquarium. Spotted turtle, channel catfish, giant gourami, poison dart frogs, and the red-bellied piranha. The giant Pacific octopus, green tree python, moray eel, 3 species of sharks, and the giant barracuda. Cleveland State University. Students walk from building to building in second-floor enclosed walkways at Cleveland State University. It's located downtown, just east of Playhouse Square, in the heart of the city. The Holden Arboretum. The Emergent Tower, Buttonbush Bog, Ponderosa Pines, Corning Lake, and the Crabapple Collection. The Canopy Walk, the Lotus Pond, Rhododendron Garden, Meditation Point, and the Butterfly Garden. The Cleveland Indians. Napoleon Lajoie, Tris Speaker, Lou Boudreau, Larry Doby, and Hal Trotsky. Earl Averill, Bob Feller, Charlie Spikes, Carlos Baerga, and Gaylord Perry. The Cleveland Browns NFL football team. Paul Brown, Otto Graham, Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly, and Marion Motley. Greg Pruitt, Brian Sipe, Bernie Kosar, Ernest Biner, and Dante Lavelli. The Cleveland Cavaliers NBA basketball team. Austin Carr, Nate Thurmond, Bingo Smith, Jim Chones, and Brad Daugherty. Mark Price, Larry Nance, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and John Bagley. The Lakeside, Ohio West Gate. Our annual family reunions would begin when we arrived at this inspiring site. Good times followed. Putt-putt golf, shuffleboard tournaments, swimming in Lake Erie, the Hoover Auditorium, Orchestra Hall, Abigail's Tea Room, and so much more, even the flying of a kite. The Lakeside, Ohio Walking Path. A simple pleasure at Lakeside, Ohio is enjoying Lake Erie by taking a nice walk on the lake path. The peace, beauty, and space remind one of our wonderful Heavenly Father and His great, great love for every human being, that He hath. Abigail's Tea Room. The iconic red geranium wallpaper from Abigail's Tea Room. The Lakeside, Ohio restaurant is gone. When the State Department of Health demanded changes, it was the crack of doom. El Capitan, Yosemite Valley, California, by Albert Bierstadt, 1875. The Toledo, Ohio Museum of Art. This painting helped make the monumental cliff face of El Capitan the most recognized site in the Yosemite Valley. The image reminded city dwellers of the untamed beauty of the American wilderness, and for the young United States, helped create a sense of identity. St. Christopher Catholic Church, Rocky River, Ohio, 2004 calendar. The St. Chris refrigerator magnet calendars are no more. They are things of the past. The love of God is the only thing that endures. Everything else in this world cannot last. And finally, the Cleveland Browns 2019 NFL schedule. Odell Beckham Jr., Joel Bitonio, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Rashard Higgins, and Jarvis Landry. Baker Mayfield, Joe Schobert, Sione Takitaki, Denzel Ward, Jamie Gillan, the Scottish Hammer, and Larry Ogunjobi. Well, that concludes today's presentation. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray, at peterjray.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.